writing off.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name's Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. This is the Loshak the Bag show, the morning show. Yesterday, Jimmy the Bag, very interesting. The first thing that jumped out at me, remember everyone and their mom, not everyone and their mom, every person that we respect and the few other people that we respect and their moms, all was talking about Valparaiso yesterday. The line just moved against them and against them and against them. And who was right in the end? Easy win for Valparaiso. Unbelievable. That's what is done in the Loshak the Bag show comments section. Unfriggin' believable. I don't know who was betting Bradley yesterday, but it wasn't the commenters in the Loshak the Bag show, and the commenters in the Loshak the Bag show were proven right. Matt Randall, Maxwell Smart, loved it, right? I'm sure everyone's thinking, look at how Loshak. Yeah, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Jimmy the Bag didn't even look at me in the morning. I'm thinking of not putting on my hat today. But yeah, yesterday was friggin' believable in terms of the calls by the and shout out to Mally Mal and everyone else who said that UNC was the right play when we were talking about it. I remember I gave NC State in the morning show and then I took it back later on. There were people who were, one commenter said that he saw UNC's game at Pittsburgh and said that Pittsburgh is pretty good and UNC like handled them well, and he was thinking that UNC was a was going to be the side here. Mally Mal and others had UNC. Of course, Maryland rolled. Kobe Valentine liked Maryland. I like Maryland. I forgot to give it as an official play. I can't tell you how many times I just forgot to do it. Remember we were talking about Maryland against Minnesota and Maxwell Smart said he liked Maryland and I said I liked it too and Kobe Valentine said he liked Maryland and I just forgot to give it as an official play. So everyone who was listening got the play, but whatever. St. John's covered against Villanova, and
Shout out to Big Boss for giving that.
Right. Shout out to DJ Big Boss for giving that. And on the St. John's Villanova game, I want to give a huge shout out to myself, Peter Loshak. I'm giving out a massive shout out to myself, Peter Loshak. What did I say that game was going to do? I said St. John's would be up early and that Villanova was going to come back late. I said that if I liked St. John's, I liked them on the first half more and that Villanova was probably going to roll late. Of course, St. John's was up by 5, right? Up by 5 at the half. And what did I say? If St. John's was up at the half, I'd be looking to take Villanova. Remember what I said yesterday? Yeah. I said if the second half line for Villanova is going to be only where they have to win the game by 2 or something, I'd be taking Villanova on the second half. They did cover the second half spread, so just an enormous shout out to me for my call on the way that game would go, and shout out to DJ Big Boss for giving us that play. What else happened in the?
You look like you're in a very good space right now, and that excites me very much, Mr. Loshak.
Had a loser with the under in Tennessee, Missouri. Loser with the first half under in the Buffalo game. So it wasn't all great yesterday.
I had a very interesting
LSU
day.
Great call there.
Shout out to Billy Exotic. He was bang on with the Bolts. The Jackets were a mistake. There were 4 plays I made before I came here that I believed in NHL. They go 4-0. 4 puck lines, they go 4-0. And then I start reaching. I go against Scotty Rock and take the under. Go against Scotty Rock in the market, take the under in the Sharks Oilers game. That's a loss. I go against Billy Exotic with the Jackets on the big plus money line. That's a loss. And then we push on our Devils Sabres.
Yeah.
I listened to Max intently, who was incredible yesterday on our show. After the show, I make 2 plays based on his session with us. I take LSU and I take the under in Indiana State. They both cash, and then I start reaching. Then I start reaching and making extra plays, and it really bothered me. Got some good advice talk with Dan Kelly this morning. Got some great advice. What a great guy he is. I believe that we are moving in the right direction regardless of me reaching a little bit too much last night. Before I give a shout out to all the commenters, we have a very exciting day today. First off, we got this morning show. We're going to bang out all of this action. Then on the late show, J Money is Money joining us to break down the NBA card. Maxwell Smart coming back again to join us with the college basketball card. So very excited about the late show. Not only that, on King's Court, that goes right after us. These guys will be killing it. Jay Money. And, of course, the Star King Rail have been absolutely killing it in NBA. They have the whale capper joining them on the Late Show. So very, very exciting day here at Sportsbook Review. And not only that, we mentioned this on the Late Show yesterday, that we are flying one low-bagger down to Costa Rica, transporting him to Jaco Beach, where we will party our asses off and watch the Super Bowl together and be a part of our betcast. We are doing that. More details to come, but we are flying one low bagger to Costa Rica to party with Lodals, The Bag, and others. I know Drew Martin's going to be there. Donnie Rightside going to be there, and others. We're very excited about that. So that's what's going on right now. And then before we move forward, I want to give a shout-out. Abba, Zabba, my man, first in the chat. Barry Cohen hit a 14 puck line parlay last night. Attaboy Barry. MLB hit with Bruins and Pittsburgh parlay puck line last night. I love hearing that. Aaron Leah in the house. Ryan Campbell, Jansen Bonds, and Ringer Ring, Joe Ramirez, Oscar Valverde, Ramirez, Jay Sandercock, Jeremy Miller, Q Peso, father of Sweet Lobaglin, Ninja 13, Ron Lofton, Bleds W, Art Hayes, Daryl Lyles, Sacktown King Series Business. What a great, great, great group. Love rolling with you guys. We got Kobe Valentine in the house. Nate S. Gate Pass Key. Yellow Jesus blessing all our picks. I'm ready to get to work, Pete.
Okay, some comments are coming in. Dan Kelly says, you kept me off a big bet on NC State, Pete. Does that mean that our analysis of the game in the late show, or just the fact that I took it in the early show? I think he means.
In fact, everybody here kept me off of NC State.
Yeah.
Everybody here kept me off. And you mentioned Mally Mal. There was great work yesterday. It's amazing how much great work, and I almost just by reaching messed it up, because there was some incredible work going on. And what happens to me is as we start grinding, and tomorrow's going to be a real big grind for me with 12 NHL games, 4 NBA games to start the morning show, is that I get worse as we talk about it. As the week goes on.
Yeah.
We're going to have King Rail joining us on Friday. That hopefully will put an end to our Friday problems.
Yes. Although Friday is tough. Friday is tough in NBA. And let me see.
Bezos says he's ready for a Costa Rica trip. He'll leave today. Shout out to Jeremy Miller. We got Pepper. It's and Dan Kelly says it was listening to your analysis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know. Oh, thank you so much. Dan Kelly is a sarcastic guy at times, and usually when he's sarcastic, he's brutally dead on, which is just strikes the heart of things. Shout out to you, Dan Kelly. I'm thinking that I'm seeing some stuff with quarters and halves in the NBA today. We'll talk about that in the
Shadow joining us too. Love hearing from our man Shadow. Shout out to Shadow. Says cheers all. Hit an 8-game parlay, including 3 NHL puck lines last night. God damn, that feels good. Attaboy, Shadow.
Kevin Pine says, you can't shout yourself out, Pete. Yes, I did, and I'll do it again. Huge shout out to me for nailing the way the St. John's game was going to go. St. John's first half, and then Villanova to come back later on. Yeah, and in the NHL yesterday, once again, man, I really got to start trusting my leans in NHL, because I did have a few leans that I was talking about how Dallas on the team total over. Remember, I was talking about Dallas team total over. It's just they've been such an undertrender on the road that I just I don't know why I felt too insecure to give it as a play, but Dallas team total over, that was one of my leans. That one cashed. And also New Jersey Buffalo, I was talking about it, even without, I just felt like a good spot for Buffalo. I got spooked by the line movement in favor of New Jersey, but once again yesterday my NHL leans would have all cashed. So I'm going to try to I'm doing a little bit better. Like the Minnesota team total under 3 months ago would have been a lean, but I had the balls to give it instead of doubling up and taking Boston -1. And of course yesterday when people were asking for our best bet, I was shouting out Boston every time someone asked that. So maybe we should start doing that, Jim. Just have a segment where we give our best bets at the end of the show, and then maybe make that as a little video that people can pull out, that the marketing people can pull out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wrote that in the chat 3 times. Bruins -1.5. So
all right. So you want to get into today's card?
I do. Shout out to Ringer Ring with the Browns bet. That got me off of Canisius.
Yes, I know. I saw that. People were talking about Brown, and that one was close, but Brown did catch that one.
Brandon Lugo says, don't overthink those college basketball slight line moves.
Yeah,
Teams have such low handles.
Although that's true. Although the Valpo line move was more than slight. It was like it moved once from 4 to like 2.5, and then again down to 1 or 1.5. So it was like it was getting pounded by someone. Maybe long term that person or that entity does know what they're talking about. But last night they sure as hell didn't. All right, let's get into NHL. How about that?
Let's do it.
Of course, Golden State rolled the Knicks. Should we have seen that? Great call on the Clippers, Jimmy the Bag. But Golden State, should we have seen that?
I fucked it up with the under. You know what? It's so funny. Monday, after Monday's basketball, which we had such a great read on, I'm like, oh, God, shouldn't have gone down to 3/4 of a unit. Feel like I'm back in business. And then yesterday, just felt kind of lost with that NBA card. It's funny. The NBA just messes with my confidence. I know that it ebbs and flows in all sports, but hockey, I'm back. The holiday, I'm back from the holiday. I feel, and I believe I've hit my high water mark.
Yeah, you have. You're coming up. You're almost catching me, Jim, which wouldn't be a problem if I gave out all my leans, because, of course, my leans in NHL are now, I'd be up over 100 units. I track my leans. I'd be up over 100 units if I was given all my NHL leans. All right, let's talk about the 3-game card today. It's definitely a wacky one, right? We have a really, really wacky card. Let's just go chronologically. Nashville against Chicago. Obviously, the Preds are starting to roll with Forsberg back. That's great. This is a very high line, though. I'm not sure what I'm thinking about here. I'm thinking about maybe passing on this one. I don't know if we want to take Nashville as a huge favorite here or not.
I find this slight NHL card very difficult. Very, very difficult. I've made no bets on the morning line. I almost made one bet in NBA, and then I held off because I saw the total moving against me. I'm very excited to be able to cap the NBA card. Spent a lot of time on the NBA card and the NHL card. We're going to hammer it right now. Then we're going to open with the first 5-8 minutes of the late show, and then it's done. So let's get to work here. Yeah, the Blackhawks are playing good hockey. Predators also 2-1 on the season high 6-game road trip. Remember, they just lost 10 straight on the road. You know, when I read that they lost 10 straight on the road, I was like, is that right? I had to go through all of those games. I guess I kind of missed it. I knew they were losing games, but 10 straight on the road for this very, very good hockey team. I was surprised by that. They're coming off that very impressive 4-0 shutout at Toronto on Monday night. A play I wanted to make in the morning and ended up talking myself off of it. Big mistake. They shut this high-powered Leafs offense down. Leafs managed just 18 shots on goal. Very impressive. In 2019, the Preds are 3-1-0. They've outscored their opponent 16-4. As Peter said, Philip Forsberg back in action. Their whole first line finally healthy. Still missing Kyle Turris, their second line centerman, and bottom pair defenseman Yannick Weber. The Blackhawks are playing good hockey for the first time in 2 years. And I actually went back to 2016-17. They were first in their division. Remember, they got swept by the Predators that year. They were 50-23. This was an excellent hockey team that has fallen apart. Are they back? No. But they are 7-4-2 in their past 13 games, coming off a 4-3 home loss to the Flames on Monday night. A win against the Flames would have actually brought them 4 points out of a playoff spot, which is another stat that totally surprised me. Colin Delia shined in net against Calgary. He's playing very, very well. 39-42 shots, 3-1-1 with a 2.19 goals against average. But I'm thinking they're going to start Cam Ward here. I don't know if you know who they're starting in goal, but that's a very important thing. The Blackhawks are completely healthy right now. Christopher Carmentini is saying, who's in goal? That's a big, big question with this Blackhawks. Daryl Lyle says, like the Blackhawks, 5-1 against the spread last 6 games. So I was looking at this card. I was thinking about different options. How do you handle this? One thing that I don't think is a ridiculous move is taking all these dogs on the -1.5.
I had one good comment for this NHL segment, and that's what. Oh wait, taking all the dogs on 1.5. Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't take them on the money line.
That's
I wouldn't do it because if you go 1 for 3,
right, you still lose.
You still lose a little bit. So I think that the move would be to take the -1.5. You get one casher, and you have a great, great night.
Yeah, it feels like, and it's not just because, favorites tend to be overvalued. It feels like Chicago does have a spot. Colorado, I don't know, but Ottawa obviously has a big shot.
I think they have a big shot, too. And I think all these road teams have big shots right now. Even Colorado. Billy Exotic says it may be Crawford. I got upset when I saw Crawford in the left wing lock, because I'm like, he's out with a concussion. It made me want to stop ever using this site again. So I don't know if you know something I don't, or maybe left wing lock. Maybe I shouldn't have been so upset with them. But I don't see them. I just see it's Cam Ward and Delia. I think Crawford's going to be out for an extended period of time. I think he's going to be. Gay Pasky says, I made that Nashville call with the Leafs perfectly with inside information. You didn't take them, Jimmy. Hurt my feelings, but not my bankroll. Yeah, Gay Pasky was a mistake. I know if I roll. Richie Rich joining us. Great NHL capper says, Ward is in net. I expect Ward to be in net. My man Jay Money joining us. Perfect. We're going to get an NBA soon. And then Jay Money, but feel free to hold some back, man, because we got Jay Money live and we fixed our sound issues. I think Jay Money. I think Jay Money is a superstar.
I agree too.
I think he's going to be massive in this business. We are so lucky to have all these guys that are joining us. The Maxwell Smarts, the Jay Money. I mean, King Rail's already becoming a superstar, but I think these other guys are just spectacularly talented, and we got them on the ground floor, and we need to actually milk the shit out of them because I think they're going to be too big for us at some point.
No, I agree, and that's the thing. It's like I'm going to on my job application to work for Jay Money and King Rail. I'm going to be like, yeah, you remember me? I agree. I'm for Loshak from the Loshak The Bag show. That's got to be a star on a resume.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's see. I think that, man, it's tough. Yeah, I'd be leaning Chicago here at the line.
At the line.
Leaning
Yes.
Colorado here and leaning
Yeah,
Ottawa.
Bud Nino says Alex Smith said Blackhawks first period over has been catching like crazy. Alex Smith hit something like 13 or 14 in a row with them. Alex Smith's always ahead of the trends. Great NHL capper. And yeah, he's been on this since the beginning. This is tough, man. Yeah, I didn't make any bets. I didn't feel comfortable with any spot. I am close to making a move. And look at Kobe Valentine. Faves in the NHL went 10-1 last night. I'm close to making a move here with all the road teams at -1.5. I'm certainly not going to make it now. And
and what about the I mean, I guess with is Rene definitely going to be in goal for
I have him in
Nashville?
goal right now. I don't know if he definitely will be in goal, but look at this Blackhawks power play now 24th at 16.3%. Remember they were 30th, I believe, at about 12%. If that keeps coming up, I mean, this Blackhawks. See, you know what's funny is that I said earlier this year that the only time I'm going to take the Blackhawks, and I did this with some success last year near the second half of the season once I had the balls to do it, and it took a winning record to have the balls to do it. Speaking of winning record, I want to see where I am at with the high water mark. As we'll keep talking through the record. Rafa, you mind throwing up our NHL record?
Yeah, my record is good. I'd be up like, can you imagine if I had like 100 units up there?
Broke the 20-unit barrier.
Yeah, very nice. Jimmy the Bag, very nice.
Broke
Jimmy the
20-unit
Bag.
barrier. So the thing was, I was always going to take the Blackhawks as a home dog, and it couldn't be a +110 or 120. I wanted +140, +150 home dog, and this is the perfect situation, and I'm hesitant to take it. Hesitant to do it. So I don't know exactly what to do with this spot, and I'd love to hear what other people. Fred Gialli leading Predators puck line.
But you don't like the first period over once again with the Blackhawks.
You know what? It feels like it's the ass end of a market move. I'm always hesitant to jump on these things 15, 16 games in, and I'm just going to stay hesitant at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's only -129.
Look at Niall, my man Niall coming in, Ottawa moneyline max bet. Yeah, I'm hesitant to take it, but I can totally understand why people would jump on.
All right, well, let's move on to a Colorado-Calgary then. The Avs are obviously on a back-to-back. They lost at Winnipeg. That was another game where I was talking about the first period over. It was like -150. I didn't give it another lean. That would have been a winner. And this is a game where I'm thinking about the first period over, and also maybe Colorado first period, maybe the second period over. It's a very high line here. I wouldn't want Colorado full game, but after the loss, they might come in here and surprise a little bit. You don't think so?
I think so. No, I agree with you, and that's why I didn't make a play early on the Flames puck line, even though I've been riding them, and you know all my futures are with them. First off, I want to give a shout out to our man Eric Nisbet. Says Jimmy the Bag and totals Loshak, internationally known, nationally recognized, locally accepted. No Barrios and Burrows, respect. And then our man Juan Cardenas coming in saying early one, Spain, Copa del Rey, Girona +475.
Okay.
Rival Atletico de Madrid cares about the Champions League. Copa del Rey messed with the calendar. Very, very interesting, Juan Cardenas, and thank you for sharing that with us. Yes, this is an interesting spot. Flames are rolling. Just took 3 or 4 on the road trip, 17-5-3 over their last 25. They have a league best. Did you listen to this stat, Pete? I did not know this stat. League best 4 skaters who've already reached the 50-point mark. So that's Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm, Sean Monahan, and of course Johnny Hockey. The last NHL squad with 4 players to reach the 50-point mark by the team's 45th game. The 95-96 Penguins, Ron Francis, Jaromir Jagr, Mary Lemieux, and Thomas Sandstrom. That's how good this Flames offense is. And I don't know if people actually understand how good this offense is.
Sure.
We've been talking so long about them not having depth, and this year they have it. We said that at the beginning of the year. It's why I made my futures bets on them. Goodrow, Monahan, and Lindholm. Listen to this, Pete. 12 goals, 33 points in their last 5 games. That's how good they're playing. Goodrow, 5-game point streak, 13 points. Avs on the second half of a very tough Canadian road back-to-back. Lose 7-4 Winnipeg last night. They're just 1-5-2 over their past 8. Grubauer was god-awful. I do not believe in this goalie at all. Avs are dealing with injuries to the bottom pair defensemen, Zadorov and Barbero. One of their replacements, Connor Timmins, is now out with a concussion. They're also missing Kamenev and Colin Wilson. Daryl Lyle says leaning over in Colorado Flames, but I don't like taking over 6.5. Yeah,
no, I don't. I was looking at the first period over on this one, and I think I will take it. The second period over, there's very likely to hit, but it's one of those minus 200 lines. But
just want to make a note. A lot of people have been saying move King Rail to 630 if King wants to. Listen, I would love that, but they're saying it to us like we have any power in this, like that we can make decisions like that, and that's where it's a fatal mistake. Yeah, we'd love that. King Rail should be before the 7 o'clock games. That show is absolutely spectacular, and Pete and I have believed in these guys since the first time we started hanging with them here in the chat. We've always believed in these guys, and there's no surprise to us that.
Do you remember how much I used to shout out King Rail every fucking show?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Every fucking show.
We are huge supporters of King's Court. We believe in them tremendously. We're lucky to be the lead-in show to them, but if you think that we can change anything, then you haven't been watching this show.
Yeah, you are not a regular viewer of this show.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the first period over. Ugh, it's minus 157, but there's going to be scoring here. And I will make this one an official play, though. Colorado, Calgary, first period over. It's going to be 1.5, minus 157, which is way up there. I would also be leaning second period over as well. I will take it. Colorado, Calgary, first period over.
Here we got Gate Pass Keys plays. I just really needed to hear what you got. And Billy Exotic, God, I think big shout out to Billy Exotic, and definitely needs to pay more attention to him. So here's some stuff here. Okay, so Gate Pass Key, and I really want to hear what these guys have to say. Nash and Hawks under 5.5. Calgary puck line, Ducks puck line. And then Billy Exotic says Semyon Varlamov has been horrible, so he's back from injury. I thought he was going to play last night. He's not playing last night. And then Richie Rich says Colorado 18%. Excellent value. So not enough people believing in the. I agree. I think what I might do, and I just need a little time to maybe have the balls, but I'm very much leaning to taking all these road teams at minus 1.5, but I'm not there. Oh, and Wayne Drew saying that Saros is in net for Nashville.
For Nashville?
Yeah. Interesting. You see Saros instead of Pecorine.
Okay.
This is so helpful.
I'm still seeing Pecorine listed, but unconfirmed.
Wow, look at King Rail. What love and kindness.
Shout out to
King Rail. He says, wouldn't be a King Sport without Jimmy and Pete. You know what? King Rail, you're a star, and I don't know if that's the case. I think you would have shone or shined, however you like to use that word, without us.
No, you got to have people promoting you and say, and no one does it alone, Jimmy the Bag. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, King Rail. Let me see. What else? No, I'm kidding around. He might have shown on his own no matter what. Jimmy the Bag, if Saros is in, how does that change things? Because Saros is...
Kevin Pine says take road teams in regulation instead of puck lines. Still great lines. I hear you, Kevin Pine. I hear you. And... that might be the better way to do it, maybe. But I've just done the same thing every year, my whole career, and I beat NHL every year. And I don't just beat it single-digit units. I beat it handily, and I'm just going to keep doing the same thing that I've done always. But Kevin Pine, I don't. It's not that I don't agree with you. I just going to keep doing what's always worked for me at this point. Sorry, Pete.
No, I'm just if Saros is playing, how does that change things? Because I'm thinking,
I think Saros is playing better hockey than Pecorine. So
that's what I was about to say, but I didn't want to look stupid on camera.
so our man who's already on the under 5.5 might be absolutely right there, and that's Gate Pass Key. So Fred Gialli saying Avalanche over. Yeah, I'm just a little uncomfortable to take 6 now. Billy Exotic on Flames -1. I'm going to need to build up the balls to do this, but I'm leaning towards taking all these road teams -1.5. And the Avs would be one of them. The Avs would be one of them. But I almost like the Avs early. Were you talking about Avs first period?
Yeah, but it's not. You're only getting like 140 or so, And with Varlamov in, it's a little bit of a question mark, isn't it?
Wow, Joe Joyner says, Jimmy, can you Send Me an Angel so we can get a pick? I'm not that. That's Pete's business, man. You don't want to hear me sing. I sing like Kate Bush. I get really high, so you don't want that.
Mr. Goetzer likes Colorado money line. Wow, on the full game. Nashville puck line and Ottawa team total over 2.5. All right, you want to talk about the Ottawa game? This is just a wacky game.
I do. I just want to make one last statement about the Flames. Flames are playing such great hockey, but look, 12-4-4 at home. So 12-4-4. Wow, you might think that's a good record, but really that's 12-8. There's value fading them maybe at home. That's all. Okay.
I hear you. All right. So Ottawa Anaheim is just a wacky line here. Obviously, both teams are having can't buy a win. So why should Anaheim be this big of a favorite? And how many games they lost in a row?
They've both lost 8 games in a row, both teams.
I understand they're playing a team that's lost 8 in a row, but they've lost 8 in a row. How do you put a -230? Even this is one of those things where even if like Boston is playing a mediocre team, you're like, I don't know, man. Should they really be that big of a favorite? How can Anaheim be this big of a favorite?
It's interesting you mentioned Boston because there are similarities with both teams, both the last 2 years dealing with a ton of injuries. Senators last in the Eastern Conference, 35 points, lowest in the NHL. They have the worst goal differential, -36. Their defense and goaltending terrible, but they scored at least 3 goals in all of their last 4 losses. They're scoring. So for the Ducks, it's the opposite. Their defense is good. They just got Cam Fowler back from injury. John Gibson, 5th in the league with 923 save percentage. It's their offense that's extremely weak. And you asked me, you said, do I think that their offense was going to change when they went on that big roll? And I said no. I said, no, it's not going to change. They are what they are. We see what we see. During the past 8 games, Ducks have scored 11 goals. The Senators have scored 10 goals in their past 3 January games.
But now Nilsson is in goal for Ottawa.
I like that.
You like it? Why?
I've watched Nilsson play, and if you're a big Canucks fan, when Nilsson will get shutouts out of nowhere. Here's Nilsson on a brand new team. You know, this is my favorite spot out of all the road teams. I mean, and you mentioned that off the top. This is my favorite spot out of all the road teams. Maybe I should just take them. But I think there might be value taking all three of these. And I'm interested. And look at Jay Sandercock, Ducks L. And Brandon Lugo says Preds goalie hasn't been announced. They play the Jackets tomorrow, so obviously Rene will start one, Saros the other. That's a good point, Brandon. Thank you for that. We got to keep rolling and look at my man Twatty Latte back in action. We've missed you, Twatty. Goddamn, Twatty.
Shout out to Twatty. Sorry, guys, I'm just a little bit off my game today because of this friggin' card. This friggin' NHL card is confusing me.
And I don't want to spend too much time on it, really.
Yeah.
I think with everybody working together, I'd rather focus on the NBA. But the Senators have issues, right? They have Bobby Ryan day-to-day, Thomas Chabot, first-round pick, excellent offensive defenseman, out with the upper body. Craig Anderson, as we know, concussion. Defenseman Justin Falk, who's important to them with a concussion. The Ducks also have a bunch of injuries, but the main one really is just Ricard Raquel. The other guys we've known, they've been out all year. This is tough. This is tough. And Bleds W says Ottawa's the best dog on the board. I completely agree. I completely agree. Look at this Ducks team. It used to be a tough place to play in the Honda Center, and that they're 10-6-7 at home. Ugly. And Billy Exotic says Anders Nilsson 0-10 last 10, but this is what snaps you out of that. Going to a new team.
How awesome is Nashville? Sorry, I didn't want to, because I'm thinking about the Chicago team total over 2.5. How awesome is Nashville defensively? They shut out Toronto, right? Held down Montreal. Gave up 4 to Detroit, though, for 3 in regulation.
That was weird. Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. The Predators are a very, very good deep hockey team. No, not
defensively, though.
Not having Kyle Turris hurts them defensively. I know he's an offensive player, but as soon as he came to Nashville, he became much more defensively responsible. He's their second-line centerman. He wins faceoffs. Good BC boy. And
what's up with Anaheim with a team total of 3.5?
That's just, well, it's just because they're playing the Senators, but that still is nuts.
But didn't the Senators turn a little bit of a defensive corner recently?
A month ago,
yeah, right.
And it stopped.
And it totally stopped. Yeah. And they're not even trying anymore to do that.
I
right?
love that Niles on Ottawa tonight. I respect that. Lamont Williams, Ottawa moneyline, Nashville moneyline, Colorado under 6.5. That's very interesting. Ganja Gamers, Avs-Flames over. Listen, there's a couple of things that I've not done. And the 6.5s are sort of new, as you know, Pete talks about. The 6.5s are sort of new, but I don't take plays worse with higher odds than -135. I just don't do that in NHL, and I also try to stay away from the 6.5s. We got to keep rolling.
All right, let's go to NBA once again. No plays officially from Jimmy the Bag yet in NHL. I took Colorado Calgary first period over 1.5 -157. I'm thinking about the Blackhawks team total over. Thinking about Anaheim team total under, and thinking about, you know, taking all the dogs one way or another, as Jimmy the Bag is. All right, so
and one thing here, just to finish up, Not Flush Allen says, Jimmy, does the over make sense in the Ducks game? And I don't know if it does. I don't think it does. But when you look at this, Rem Most, new team, players tighten up defensively, give effort. Gibson on the other side, and he's talking about new team being Nilsson, the goaltender. He said the game is going under. Robbie Tagaloa going to the Ducks game tonight, being the 6th game this year, and all 6 times they've won, either fade or follow the trend. And Ricky Levine says Ducks win. Robbie Tagaloa, last time Robbie went, he said, what should I do? I said, take the game going to overtime. Or I said, take the game going to a shootout. He couldn't get that with his book. So he took overtime. I believe he got like 2.8 to 1. It went to a shootout. This is another spot where I'd do the same thing, I think.
Okay, so let's Matt Randall talked about Seton Hall. Matt Randall, shout out to Matt Randall, one of the people who was on Valparaiso yesterday. You want to get to NBA?
Yeah,
I hope King Rail and Jay Money are in the chat. They were in the chat 2 minutes ago. I hope they are here once again. King Rail and Jay Money, King's Court show every day at what time is it?
It's at 7
o'clock Eastern time. All right, you want to go? You want to pick the picks that you're liking, Jim, or you want to go in chronological order?
You know, this is a tough NBA card. This is a tough card in general. It is to me. There was one play I wanted to make. The total's moving against us. Why don't we start with here? And is this not? Okay?
Which one?
It's the Sixers, Wizards. I want to take the under.
I want the under too.
And it keeps going up. And I almost made it an hour and a half ago, and I waited. Now it's another point higher.
Yeah.
Is it still climbing as we speak?
It's 228.5.
Oh, it's gone down.
Oh, okay. It
was at 229.5.
Okay.
Is it really? It's actually gone down now.
Yes, it has. It's 228.5 right. Yeah, you're right. 229.5 before. No, now that's not available. Only 228.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's talk it out before I jump in immediately. Sixers open this home and home with a resounding 132-115 win. So home and home. Philadelphia led by as many as 31. They've won 6 straight at home against Washington. Washington's won 8 straight at home against the Sixers. Redick missed last night's game. Shamet steps up in a huge way. 8 threes, 29 points, 8 for 15 from the field, 8 for 14 from three-point range. I love this guy. First round, 26th overall pick. Just a special guy. I love it when those late first-rounders, early second-rounders do something. Butler returned after missing the 2 games with an upper respiratory infection. 8 of 9 shooting, 20 points. Philadelphia goes 55.7% from the field. Okay, so we all see that happening. And Brett Brown, so on both sides. So both teams were playing too offensive. And The Sixers dominated the game, so it doesn't really count. But Brett Brown says we have to guard the three-point line. We know when we go back to Washington that they're going to try to take a bunch of three-pointers. He says, I can go on in a bunch of different ways, but when you say what's important to me, it's guarding the three-point line. Wizards shot 43.8% from three. Sixers shot 51.5% from three. I just don't see them doing that again. I just don't see that happening again. I think there's going to be more defense after that huge offensive outburst. That's just a simple way of looking at it, and I was wondering if it's too simple.
No, I don't think it is. And you know what? I'm going to triple up on this one. I'm taking first half, full game, and first quarter. I think you're right. I'm going to take the first quarter under 59 minus 113. The first half
King Rail says home and home game still like Philly in this spot.
Really? Okay.
Super Cisco, Wizards good at home. Billy Exotic liking Philly. Young OG in the house, shout out.
All right, I got nothing to lose in NBA here, so I'm going to take first quarter under 59 minus 113, first half under 117 minus 105, and full game under 225.5 minus 105. I'm going to triple up on
No, it's more than 225. You get
228.5 minus 105. Right. So that's 59, 117, and 228.5. I'm taking 3 unders. I agree with you, Jim.
I do too, and I just wish somebody else did too. You know,
people are disagreeing.
Ralph Portwando says got it at 228 over. Now, so my thought was the reason why the movement was going is just because of a recency bias of last night. A simple recency bias that we all deal with.
Wow. So Ralph Portwando likes the over, huh?
Oh, my man Josh joining us. Finally, Josh Kanlaya. What a treat, man. Straight out of Chicago, great capper. Thank you for joining us, Josh. Okay, here we go. Dan Kelly. Full game. Pacers, Celtics over 214. First half, Boston team total over 56.5. First half, Spurs, Memphis over 98.5. Still working on NBA. Broke down Philly, Washington. Second half of a back-to-back and home. Nothing on the total.
But will be on full game Philly. Interesting. Very, very interesting shit right there. Shout out to you, Dan Kelly.
I just don't want to go up against. Oh, and King Rail says, yeah, I agree, but Wizards don't play D and can't rebound. They can't. I don't want to go up against Ralph Portwando at this point.
So King Rail agrees with Dan Kelly?
Ralph, can you give us a little bit of insight while you're on it? Yeah, okay. David. And David H says Washington rebounds. Nice to have David H joining us. Quite a great group of guys. I want to take the under here like you, Pete.
Jay Money says I could see that under. Okay, I'm tripling up Jimmy the Bag. What do you want? The full game? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I hate going up against Ralph Portwando, but yeah. And he's on Philadelphia. Okay, I'm going to take the full game under. It's what I wanted to do, and to see that bit of a U-shaped movement in the last hour makes sense to me.
Yeah, we'll see. 228.5 minus 105. All right, do you want to go chronologically or
whatever you'd like?
All right, yeah, let's well, actually, I want to ask you about one play that I was thinking about. Cleveland and New Orleans, right? Cleveland's on a back-to-back, just an awful team. The Pelicans crushed Memphis, but I'm not sure if the Pelicans are gonna necessarily be going all out on the first quarter here. What about the Cavs first quarter plus whatever it is? 4? How bad are the Cavs?
You know, these guys, Dan Kelly, King Rail, when I was saying, look at how much value the Cavs have. Look at and they're like, stop it. Don't do this anymore. And then I was like, okay, what about first quarter? What about first half? And they actually have looked okay in the first quarter, first half. But Dan and King are right. These guys are not trying. Now they'll face each other. These two teams face each other for the second time in 5 days. Cavs on the second half of a back-to-back, 123-115. Very strange game last night. What a mistake taking the Pacers team total under. God made some mistakes last night without doubt. Pelicans beat up this Cavaliers team badly last Saturday. Won the 133-98. New Orleans followed it with a victory against a terrible Memphis team, 114-95. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I know the Pelicans, they won consecutive victories, first time since, November 16th to 19th, but they're 4-10 in games decided by 5 points or more. They need Mirotic back. Etwan Moore still dealing with a quad injury. He's day-to-day. 5 of Cleveland's losses during this skid, 10-game skid, are being by 20 or more. Homestand featured losses of 25, 26, 35. They're dealing with short-term injuries to Hood and Waba, long-term injuries to Love and Henson, and now they lost Larry Nance in the last night after he injured his right knee in the first quarter. He's not coming back. These guys are just a terrible, terrible basketball team. In fact, what would I get? How big is the spread right now on the Pelicans?
It's well, I think it's like 14 or something like that. Yep.
Dale Ord said Cavs finished last night fighting for each other and looked like they really cared.
You know, I'm gonna take the Cavs first quarter. If it's a loss, I'll take it. At Heritage, you can get 5 minus 115. Although at Pinnacle, it's 4.5 plus 104. I should probably take that one instead. But I'm gonna take the Cavs first quarter plus 5 minus 115. If it loses, I'll eat it. I'll eat the loss.
My man Josh from Chicago says, give me the Bulls game over. Love hearing what these cappers have to say about their own cities, their own games.
That's well, I mean, because we know that the Bulls are playing, very lower scoring games on much lower scoring games on the road. They're playing.
Let's move on to that game. But a couple things here. Gerald Martinez says Pelicans are nothing. Jay Money says I could only lean over in the Pelicans game, and Al Hart took Cavs plus 11 last night. So if that's going to be a spot in Brandon Marin on Pelicans full game and first half. So I guess you're right. If we see the Cavs fighting for each other late in the last game, you think that carries over to the first quarter. Okay, so let's take a look at what
they're getting a lot of points here.
But let's take a look at what this roster, what this lineup's going to look like.
I hear you. It's
without Nance. So we have Thompson back. So he's pretty much fully healed from that foot injury. He's going to have to play a lot of minutes tonight. If he gets in foul trouble, this team is completely fucked. You'll have Channing Frye and C.D. Osman. You're going to have Blossom game in there. It's going to be an absolute mess. So I agree with you. I think the first quarter, Tristan Thompson's caring. All the quotes, all the things he's saying, I like about him being a competitor and not wanting to go out like this. This is tough, but I like your first quarter play. I do. I like it. I like it quite a bit. What are you getting? 5.5?
5 minus 115.
Plus 5?
Yeah.
Hey, the Knicks' first quarter play was a great play.
Yeah. All right, I might have made a mistake there, but let's talk about the Bulls game because I was also thinking about the Bulls on the first quarter, and I was thinking about the under on this one. The Bulls, of course, are trying to play a lot more physical style, and their recent road games have gone way under. Portland has been a very under-trending team as well, although this is an extremely low total. But I was definitely thinking that Chicago, at very least on the first quarter. What do you think?
Yeah, and Gabe Paskey saying, why take Cavs at all? Not smart considering they're not talented, no motivation, but to lose. Stop backing them. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's the right move. It's very difficult for me to I think I'm just I see what you're seeing, a ton of value early. We'll keep talking about this. Super Cisco says Blazers kill at home. My man Josh liking his Bulls to put up some points here. Bulls 4-game losing streak coming off Sunday's 117-100 loss to Brooklyn. Portis comes off the bench and looks good. Portis back healthy. He's a very important player because Levine was commenting after the game. He said, we need to be more physical. We need to be more physical. Yeah. Who can do that for you? Well, Bobby Portis can do that for you. So he goes 6 for 11, 19 minutes. Says he felt good out there. Missed 7 games with an ankle injury. The Bulls are finally healthy. When are they going to have value? Do they have value here? We've watched this Blazers team step up against good teams and play down to the level of bad teams. Is this another spot? I mean, that Knicks play just felt like such a slam dunk play after the Blazers had played quite well in 2 very big games. So
I got to take this one as well. Chicago Bulls on the first quarter, which is actually going to be 3.5 minus 110. So it's you're getting some points there. Chicago first quarter 3.5 minus 110. I got to take that one. Chicago first quarter plus 3.5 minus 110.
Our boy Rayhan came down here and was hammering those Bulls first quarters. He came down to Costa Rica. Lowbagger came down to Costa Rica. Josh says Levine has been playing great and Portis is back. A bunch of people saying save money and stay away from the Cavs bet. Bleds W liking Blazers first half. Lamont Williams on the Cavs solo under. Shout out to Dan Kelly for being on that yesterday. After that first quarter, I was like, is Dan going to be in trouble? Then they put 36 seconds. They clear it easily, 115 points. Great play by Dan. Yeah, Fred Gialli also on the Bulls over. What's the total and where's it gone?
Well, it's a low total. Jay Sandercock pleading with me to save my money and not take the Cleveland play. I already took it. Might have been a big mistake, but
Ben Sportsbook says Cavs getting too many points not to take them. Packtown King saying line moving towards the Bulls. Is Scotty Rock forever joining us?
I don't know, but let's look at some of these totals. The total in the Chicago game is it got bet up. It opened at 205.5. Now it's up to 208.
Wow, I like where they're doing, and I think Levine steps up against Dame. I think it's a really nice opportunity for Levine to show off, sort of a thing. Leland Tagliari saying Holland gone 2 helps Bulls full game. King Rail says Blazers play down to bad teams at home. Yeah. I don't know why. King knows this team inside and out. Yeah, are they going to? So this is the start of a road trip. How do you feel about a team on the first game of a road trip like the Bulls are on, going over to the West Coast? Is that something you don't like backing?
No, I mean, it's definitely situation dependent, and I just feel like the Bulls, with their talk about playing tough, are going to come out here in the first quarter. And
Ralph Portwando giving us a good, sorry to interrupt, about when I asked him, why he likes that over. And Ralph Portwando, overs 9-2 in the 76ers on back-to-back, 8-3 with Wizards' last 11 home games. just feel like the fact that they're going back against each other the following night. You did give me that under, right?
Yeah.
I did take it. Yeah, 228 minus 105. Okay, sorry. I like both your first quarter plays. I like them both.
All right, let's see what else we have here on the NBA card. Let's just see what we would like to discuss. Well, I guess I don't know. All these games are. How about Dallas Phoenix? Right? What happened with Dallas? They cashed the first half. You had that one. I had that one. I tailed you on that one, and then they fell apart against the Lakers in the second half. And
it's a backcourt.
What?
Their backcourt. The backcourt got hurt.
Yes.
Dennis Smith Jr. got hurt, and Doncic got hurt. Dennis Smith Jr. is questionable. Doncic isn't on the injury report, but that's what happened.
So you think he's still banged up for this game if he plays?
Well, he's got mid-back tightness, and Doncic with a lower back strain.
Because the market's giving a ton of respect here to Dallas, almost a double-digit favorite. I know Booker is out for Phoenix, or is he? I assume
he
he's
might
out.
be. No, he might. We're going to have to find out late. I was shocking to see them win without him. 115, 111 last night. Oubre Jr.
had a great game.
Great game, 26 points. They love him. DeAndre Ayton, 17 points, 12 boards. I've really liked what I've seen from him this year. But the jury was out. I didn't know if I even liked him as a player after the little bits we saw of him in college. They've already defeated the Mavericks twice this season, once without Booker. Over the last 2 seasons, Phoenix is 5-0 against Dallas, holding the Mavs to 93 points a game. Phoenix 4-15 on the road, 0-6 when finishing up a back-to-back. Very difficult to back them here.
So why is the market giving Dallas so much respect here? Because I was thinking that at least on the first half, once again, Dallas would be a play.
J Money says Suns are in a terrible, terrible spot.
Right. Does Dennis Smith did not participate in Tuesday's practice?
Yeah, and
he's going to be out, we think.
Yeah, I actually with the back injuries, he just is just dealing with injuries nonstop. And if Barea is healthy and Brunson's healthy, well, we know Brunson's healthy, then maybe they don't need to rush Smith back.
So what about the under?
J Money says if no Booker, Suns get blown out. I could see the under, but I would just prefer to know exactly who's in the lineup before I made a play on the total. What is the total at?
220.
And what movement has it had?
Slight move to, actually a teeny move to the under. But if Smith is out, that means Brunson gets more minutes, right?
Yeah.
And that means a slower
it means
pace.
that Barea runs it, and both. You're right. Both Barea and Brunson are going to slow the pace.
Right.
Down. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Why would we not like the under here?
Yeah.
I think this might be one of my more favorite plays on the card. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take under 219.5 minus 103 at 5 dimes. I'm going to take that one. 219.5 minus 103 at 5 dimes. Phoenix and Dallas under 219.5 minus 103. And Jay Money says if Booker is out, Phoenix gets blown out. Do we take him at least on the first quarter?
I just don't feel confident right now.
There you go. Super Cisco under Suns Mavs.
I love Super Cisco. Great capper, my man Frankie. I'm very pensive right now to make moves on this card until I hear what everybody has to say.
Yeah, we are going to do this in the afternoon show, of course, joined by Jay Money, right?
Yep.
And the first half might be...
and King Rail says this is a wait-and-see roster type game.
Right.
I agree. I feel like if you're going to make a play on the total, then you have to have a sense of where the pace is going to be, and how do you do that without knowing if Smith's going to be in the lineup or not? Van City Chris, sorry I'm late.
I'm assuming Booker's going to be out.
Not Booker. Oh, I don't think I would.
No?
No, he was questionable to play last night. They're 0-6 on the second half of back-to-backs. I would say he knows that stat. He knows this is a tougher game. He knows the Mavericks are out for blood because they've been losing to the Suns. I would say, why don't I give it 24 hours more rest and suit up tomorrow? I'm not sold on that. I think that he could be in here.
Okay.
But my man Van City Chris doubled the account last night.
Very
beautiful,
nice.
Beautiful. Great job.
All right, moving on to other games.
Al Hart saying Dennis Smith is out.
Yeah, I'm assuming Smith maybe I'm wrong.
Fred Gialli's leading to the under as well.
Yeah, and I would be thinking about maybe a shot with the Dallas team total under as well. We got to keep a little bit of what else? What other picks do you want to give? Orlando, Utah is interesting. Let's see.
All these games are Utah, and I would like to touch on them all, but the misanthropic nihilist says, can you please cap the Pacers game? Let's hit this very exciting spot, Pacers at Celtics. Celtics gone 3-0 on this 4-game homestand, coming off a really nice 116-95 win at TD Garden over a Nets team that was humming. They've won 6 of 8. They're getting healthier. Just Aaron Baines out of the lineup with a hand injury. Pacers have won 7 of 8. They're on the second half of a back-to-back after winning 123-115 in Cleveland last night. They win only by 8 points, but they were dominating. They got out to a 20-point lead. They held the Cavs to 43 points in the first half, and then they just started resting players, knowing that they had a big matchup against the Celtics the next night. They're shooting really well. They shot 53.8%. Thaddeus Young getting a ton of run with Turner out of the lineup. It's not just Sabonis that's getting the extra run. It's Thaddeus Young. Also Bogdanovich, ton of run. Young and Bogdanovich combined for 49 points on 20 of 30 shooting.
That's not going to repeat here against Boston, though, right?
And here we got Dan's analysis on this game. Incredible. Road team, meaning Indiana, 4th and not the last game of trip. 3rd game in 4 days, back-to-back with a 1 winning streak. This is part of the analysis that yields a play on the full game Indiana-Boston over 214 based on past results of comparable information. King Rail says, I took that over down this morning. Well, you know what I like to say, Pete?
Yeah.
That's enough for me, Pete. Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, you want the over in the Boston game, huh?
I'll let these experts, incredible NBA cappers, do the work for me, and I'll just reap the benefits.
Yeah, 214 minus 105. That is at a few places right now. Let's see, mostly at Heritage. So you're going to take Indiana, Boston over 214 minus 105, huh?
Yeah, and Gabe Paskey saying with Max Small Smart there, there'll be lots of cash waiting for this great NCAA card tonight. Can't wait to have Max back on the show. Perfect. Yeah, I got it. Over 214 minus 105. Let them do the work for us. I like the way they rested the players late. I like the way the Pacers are shooting. You know, Marcus Smart even shooting well, and Kyrie talking about how incredible Marcus Smart is defensively and how he just watches him. He just watches tape of him for a 6'4" player like Marcus to take those charges, to beat the spots at the right times. I love it. And Misanthropic Nihilist, I did no work there. I just explained the situation and let Dan Kelly and King Rail lead us to it. So let's keep rolling right along. Oh, and so look, here's another spot. Boston over Kylie Reynolds. Boston over 213, big. Kylie Reynolds, great capper. And J Money, I'm on the over with you guys. We got to bet this right away, because when you hear all these guys are on that type of play, it's just going to be I'm not going to get it when I bet it in 25, 30 minutes. And Raul Perwano says, yes, Kylie, Lakers down to 215 now. I believe Kylie. All
right, I'll make that one official pick as well. Indiana, Boston over 214. Fine. Jeez. Okay, I'm on it. Okay.
Wow, I love this. Atlanta at Brooklyn tonight. Smart money in the house. Nice to have him. Says, I love this. Atlanta at Brooklyn tonight. In the 10 previous situations, home after a trip, 3 and 4 nights, rest last night, road back-to-back, not at home last night. 4 have been pushes against the spread. Interesting spot. 4 out of 10 have been pushes against the spread. Wow. And Ben Sportsbook says, I'm fading. He's fading all this. He says, going with the under tonight. Think defense will be big in this game. Interesting. Ish Kurt in the house. Okay, Fred Gialli says, Rockets versus Bucks, best game of the night. God, what an exciting spot this is. Absolutely. Rockets coming off 125-113, home win over the Nuggets on Monday night. Harden finished with 32 points and 14 assists. Rockets snapped Nuggets 5-game winning streak. He was spectacular. He was getting double-teamed everywhere. In the first half, he had more assists in the first half than shot attempts, and he still goes off for 32. Capella has a career-high 31 points because, you know, if he's going to get double-teamed outside, then obviously Capella's going to have space. PJ Tucker, Gerald Green go to their spots. We know that Tucker loves that corner spot. They feast on open threes. Tucker and Green go for 42 points, make 13 of 21 threes. Paul Gordon both out. Bucks coming off a 114-102 win over the Jazz. This team is rolling, man. Yeah. What a scary team. Milwaukee's the only team in the NBA in the top 5 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. They've won 6 of 7 and 10 of 12.
Yeah, a big line move here in favor of Milwaukee. I was thinking Milwaukee would be the play here. No,
you know what? I cashed so easily with the Rockets as an even money play against the Nuggets. I just knew that was giving me enormous amounts of value. Now I'm going to have to. Oh, well, look at my man Angel Romero in court. Just wanted to say hi to my fellow low baggers and the hustlers.
Shout out to Angel Romero.
Gerald Martinez says Bucks have length and size to give the Rockets problems.
Why would we not like the Bucks here?
Billy Exotic says Bucks are the better team. I agree. Gerald Martinez says I agree. I like the Bucks. WW Train says I like the Bucks. I tell you what, King Rail says Bucks.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, okay.
Have I heard enough? I think so. I'm going to start with the Milwaukee Bucks on the first half, -0.5, -1.
Wow, Jay Money must be on them too, because Lamont Williams just said, Jay Money, I'm with you, bro. Buck. Wow.
All right, I'm going to start with Milwaukee first half -0.5, -105. Thinking about the full game as well.
Wow. I mean, God, seeing all those guys on it.
I'll take it. -1, -110 at Bovada. I will double up on Milwaukee as well. -1, -110, and the first half -0.5, -105. That's just the way I was thinking. If King Rail and everyone else are agreeing and liking Milwaukee so much.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston's off a nice big win, right?
This is another. They need their wins. This is another big spot for them. I'm gonna hold off on making that move, but let's quickly just touch on some of these. See, Daryl Lyles says Rocket small dog at home. I'll take it, and that's all I've ever thought of whenever I. But King Rail says bad matchup defensively for the Bucks. Bookie Bird loves the Bucks first half. Atlanta Hawks Nets. Hawks off a very nice loss last night. I mean, it's hard to say that, but they're on the second half of back-to-back. They only lose by 3 last night at Toronto. Nets are playing very good ball. They've won 12 of 16. They just finished a 3-game road trip. Started out with wins over Memphis and Chicago, and then that pretty ugly loss at Boston. They had a season-worst 23 turnovers, shot 40.5%. They're dealing with a ton of injuries. Carroll, sore left knee. Joe Harris, right ankle sprain. Those guys are both nice perimeter defenders. Now, Allen Crabbe and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson are out for at least another week at least. They're both out, but Carroll and Harris are listed as probable. Karooks, though, man, Rodion's Karooks, God, he's been awesome. 24, career-high 24 points against the Celtics. I love the way this second-rounder plays. Atlanta, 6-5 in their last 11. And 3 of those wins are again on the road against New York, the Pistons, and the Wolves. Collins playing great ball. Jeremy Lin stepping up. I'm sure he's going to get traded at some point if he plays this well. Hawks are doing this without Bazemore, Prince, and Plumlee. All will be unavailable tonight. Huerter hurt himself, mild back strain last night. He's questionable to go. And the last time these teams met, ridiculously high scoring, 144, 127. So I don't have a spot on them. I just wanted to touch on these games. Spurs, Grizzlies, I think that we can find an angle here. I really do. Spurs are rolling. Grizzlies are flailing. They played each other last week. San Antonio won by 20, 108-88. Spurs coming off an easy win in Detroit on Monday. They're playing good ball. DeRozan 26, Aldridge 25, White 17, Forbes 15, Mills 13. They've won 13 and 16. San Antonio played Detroit without Rudy Gay. It didn't matter. He's going to miss the next 2 games as well. Grizzlies have lost 6 straight, 13 of 16, coming off a 114-95 loss at New Orleans.
And yet the line has moved slightly in Memphis's favor.
Yeah,
we've seen this before.
We
see this a few times a week in the NBA, at least.
You know, if I knew that JaMychal Green was healthy, my initial read was that, God, I do not believe the Spurs are as good as we've seen them.
Right. Well, clearly, they're going to come back down to earth. It's just the question is that going to happen in this game?
And shout out to Pop. I mean, we said a bunch of negative stuff about the way he was coaching it, and he's turned this team around 24 and 17. Shout out to Pop. JaMychal Green, though, he's a big issue. He needs to be in line. Marcus Gasol is not playing well. 7 points and 5 boards before fouling out against the Pelicans. Now, I went over his last 5 games, and his rebounding numbers are fine. His assists are pretty good. 8.8 boards, 4.8 assists, but he's averaging 10 points a game. Assists not good enough. Look at Bob Berube, my man. Bob Berube, straight out of Vernon, BC. Bob Berube, plus 8.45 units yesterday.
Very nice.
Memphis bench is also awful, says Art Hayes. Jay Sandercock says, trust me, Grizz lose. Trust me, Grizz lose.
And yet, this will be very interesting to see where this line is in the afternoon show. I suspect that we'll see no movement, but if it's up to 3.5, that might tell you something. Yeah, if it's down to 2 or 1.5, that tells you a lot, I think. Yeah,
Leland saying Holiday on Memphis now can't shoot. God, he's been bad. I expect Holiday to step up at some point because he got 4 points last game, all from the foul line. That's just terrible. Then we've already talked Suns, Mavs. And Magic Jazz. Magic Jazz, we did touch on briefly, but we should probably finish off them Pistons, Lakers, and then we can move on to college. So let's see if we can do that really quickly. Magic Jazz.
How bad is it with Rubio out and Exum running the show? Neto running the show.
It's bad, but against DJ Augustine, I think you can get away with it.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
Is Orlando going to get smashed again here?
Orlando's. See, that's the question. Like, this is their final game of a 6-game road trip. They've been through 4 time zones. To me, I think they want to go home. I think this is a Magic team where I've never really trusted their character. I think they want to go home. They were down 28 points to start the 4th quarter in that loss at Sacramento. So 111-95 flatters them. Orlando 1-4 on the trip. Double-digit losses each of the past 3 games. They opened up the trip with 25-point loss to Hornets. I don't trust them. I really, really don't trust this team's character. Utah will be without Rubio. I think that gives us value. What do we get on the Jazz right now?
It's like 9.
Oh, shit. That's no value. Okay, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, but JM Dez says Jazz -9, road trips brutal. Edward Younger says Magic terrible. Bud Nino says Jazz roll. Maybe they do. I think the Magic want to go home. And Brandon Lewis says Orlando's a lazy ass team. That's what I've seen because they have talent. They shouldn't be as bad as they've been over the last few seasons. They just give up. And yeah, Leland saying Isaac is a bust. That pains me to see that. I think we got to give him more time.
Dan Kelly says, Pete, what do you mean you have said I have something with quarters and Avs when waiting and breathing hard? Dan Kelly, I was liking Milwaukee first half. That's one of my plays. And the Bulls first quarter plus 3.5 minus 110.
Yeah, Gerald Martinez says Magic can't shoot outside Utah defense will stifle them. And Jay Coley says trust Magic to the under.
Mm-hmm.
What is the total on that game? What's the movement being?
Let's see. The total on the Magic game, it's a low total, 207.5, 208 at Povada.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And then finally, we have Pistons-Lakers. Okay, this is one spot I do want to jump on.
Okay.
But I'm not going to necessarily unless I hear from these guys. I would like to jump on the Pistons here.
Right.
Griffin in his first game in L.A. Now, I've had a bad read on the Pistons. I lost again with them on the money line against the Spurs. Both the Pistons and Jazz have really chewed me up and spit me out so far this year. Pistons have lost 14 of 18 coming off that bad loss against the Spurs, but Griffin played well. 34 points, 8 assists. It's not enough. Reggie Jackson's losing his mind in Dwayne Casey's system. Dwayne Casey wants everything to revolve around Griffin from a point forward standpoint. Ish Smith out now 17 games in a row. And, God, I just don't like the way – I just feel like Reggie Jackson just never steps up. Daza Pachulia, a good character guy. He's been out 2 last 4 games with a leg contusion. Lakers are probably feeling good about themselves after the 107-91 win at Dallas. They're 2-5 without James in the lineup. Ingram playing very well. Lonzo Ball, 21.7 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals last game. Ringer Ring says Pistons is a curse for me. That's the same as me. It's Ron Crawford on the Lakers. Okay, I would like to make a move here. I would like to make a move here on the Pistons, and Red Girl's on the Pistons.
Okay, shout out to Red Girl.
Yeah, this is not easy, but why don't I'm happy we talk these games out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely going to have action on this late show coming in, and I'm going to make them over during this afternoon. Super Cisco says Pistons. Don't you think the over/under is low?
It is a little bit low. I know that the Pistons, Casey can sometimes tell them to slow it down.
I'm going to have
Seems like a low total, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I just don't have a good read on them. R.Hay says Reggie Jackson is the most disappointing player in the league. I agree. There's times where he just looks so talented. And Gabe Pasquille, again, same thing he's saying about the Pistons, and he's right. Sorry, about the Cavs, and he's right. He says, stop throwing bad money on Detroit, trying to prove yourself right. Ego play, stay away. You know what? I also don't believe in the Lakers team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust them without Braun. So that is another piece to this. It's not just me trying to figure out the Pistons, but I hear what you're saying, Gabe Pasquille, and it's important to hear it.
Courtroom play from soccer play from Angel Romero, Villarreal, Moneyline, and Copa del Rey, plus 110.
I love it. And Rob Portwando took Boston over 213. Okay,
Portwando's
why don't you hammer out, have you taken a look at this college basketball card? Because I have not. I mean, I've taken a look at it, but I've not broken things down.
No, I have, I've taken a look at a little bit, but let's see. Matt Randall really liking Seton Hall and Seton Hall over. Let's see where those lines are now. Hold on, let me just find the college basketball. Let me just review everything. Okay, hold on. Let's put everything up here. Seton Hall and the Seton Hall over might be worth a play, and if so, then maybe the Seton Hall team total over might be worth a shot as well. Let's just find all the games. God, there's so many friggin' games.
No worries. Why don't you take a look? I'll just read a couple last notes on the NBA. WW Train as well says Pistons kill me every time. Fred Gialli says the Pistons will likely not get too far past 100 points. So if that's the case, the under should hold some solid betting value. Bookie Bird liking the Spurs here. Lamont Williams says, do you like Detroit solo over? That's another spot, Lamont, where I've had such a bad read on totals with the Pistons where they've come out of the gate. Like even in that Spurs game, and I know what Gabe Pasquille's saying, but I was watching that Spurs game and I was sitting back and I was like, oh man, I look at this big money line cash about to roll my way, and then they fall apart because their outside shooting is so terrible. You never know when they're going to put up a 15-point quarter, and it seems like they do it every game.
Yeah, I mean, so again, getting back to that Seton Hall game, Matt Randall really likes it, and Seton Hall, of course, go ahead.
Twatty liking Iowa +7. And Kylie Reynolds saying Seton Hall money line all day. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Seton Hall is a good team. They've been one of these classic situations, a good team that hasn't been getting that's been getting appropriate line respect, so they haven't been a good bet ATS wise. And a lot of times those kinds of teams, when they're off a straight up loss, is when they get a little bit more motivated and outplay their modest evaluations on the card. Seton Hall, despite being at the top of the Big East, just 7-8 ATS, coming off a straight-off loss, and Matt Randall liking Seton Hall here to cover against Butler, and I was thinking that way as well. Butler, of course, coming off a big win, so it just seems like a no-brainer play to take Seton Hall here, and probably a shot with the Seton Hall team total over as well, which is just hanging at 73 right now. I'm going to check Pinnacle right now, but that might be a low-hanging play right there. Seton Hall team total over at 73 at Heritage. Let's see what
I think Dan just nailed this.
What was that? What's that?
I think he so sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I think he nailed this play. I really like it.
What's that?
I think I'll just take his full game at this point, but he is first half Orlando, Utah under 105, full game Orlando team total under 99.5. And if this team is giving up the way I think they are, I think that's I think that's the best play I've read in all of the NBA.
They're just not going to show up, huh?
Well,
offensively.
I like that the best because I don't fully know. It's hard to tell how the Jazz are going to handle things with Nito running the show there. And I think his team total under is a spectacular play that I want to take immediately.
You want to take it?
I want a Magic team total.
All right, so we're going back to.
I'm sorry, my fault.
That's okay. That's okay. We're going back to NBA here. The Orlando Magic team total under. I'll check Pinnacle and Heritage for you, Jimmy the Bag. You want to read out some other?
I do. Okay. Let's go back to college. But sorry,
that's okay.
He's putting it together like what it's like he's writing the musical to my thoughts. Beautiful stuff. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on. Juan Juarez, shout out right back to you, my man. Loving when we're hitting in NHL, and I feel like I've got a really
Orlando.
Nice
you want the under, huh?
Yes.
99.5 minus 110. I will go on that one with you. Thank you. Huge shout out to Dan Kelly. Orlando team total under 99.5 minus 110. That's the current line at Heritage. I'll add that one on myself. Shout out to Dan Kelly.
Okay, yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming here. Sean Williams. Oh, he's talking. Oh, yeah. Houston -1, Jacksonville -3, and of course a blind bet on Virginia under, as they always cash going back to last year. Interesting stuff. Spike says take Louisville versus Pitt. Pitt gotten exposed versus North Carolina.
I don't know though. Maybe it's just that North Carolina is really that good in light of the NC State game. Did Pitt get exposed? I mean, Louisville does usually handle North Carolina no problem.
Kylie Reynolds liking Marquette, same with Ron Crawford. Matt Randall also leading St. Louis, Ohio State, and Arkansas. Interesting stuff. Coco Bondugo is also on Seton Hall and Hawaii.
Seton Hall definitely seems like the play. At just -3, if you want to be safe, take him on the money line.
Love Dion Davis joining us as well. Great capper. He's also on Marquette. That's very, very interesting. All these guys on Marquette makes me think that there's a lot of life to this team. Maxwell Smart, Fresno State. He's had a nice read on Fresno State. So exciting to have him again on our late show. Stick around. What a late show we're going to have.
Yeah.
Jay Money is money, breaking down the NBA card, then heading right over to our man Maxwell Smart.
Yeah, that Marquette game is tough, though, because it's just like, I mean, Marquette's been a good team at ATS, but they haven't done that well ATS on the road. And, these road dogs can sometimes look very appealing. And then when they go on the road, they're like, what happened? And then you're like, oh, yeah, home court does matter. Travel does matter, especially in January in college
Matt
basketball.
Randall says Seton Hall's the Valpo play from yesterday. Get on it, guys. Don't wait. And maybe I didn't take Valpo yesterday. I was too uncomfortable with the market move.
Yeah, a massive market move. And we're seeing the same thing with the Butler-Seton Hall game right now, right? It opened, I think there were 3.5s available, opened at 3. It's now going down to 2.5, which is interesting.
Maxwell Smart says, I like Houston a lot until they lose, and laughs. Kevin Pine, Temple. Angel Romero a little bothered by how slow court is going, rather unorganized.
Yeah, the Kansas game against TCU is obviously very interesting. Now with Azubuike out, we're going to see small ball here from Kansas. Maybe a shot with the over, maybe. What do you think? Anyone in the comments section thinking about the over in the Kansas game?
Damian J. Walter like in the first half, Vanderbilt. And then Drew has a question, says, when doing a parlay, is it better waiting late to make the play or earlier the better? It all depends on whether you need more information on guys being in or out of the lineup, or that you're thinking you're beating a line move, or you're waiting. It all depends on that stuff. If you think you're going to beat the line move, get in early. If you want more information on players getting hurt, do that. Matt Randall says, Maxwell Smart, Fresno, Utah State over looks good to me. Kobe Valentine giving a happy birthday play, Arizona -3. Cash action bets liking Seton Hall and Creighton, and Sean Williams liking Abilene Christian.
See, there you go. Cash action bets liking Creighton. Yeah, that Marquette play makes me a little bit nervous.
Kobe Valentine says Marquette will muck And maybe he meant Merck, but whatever. We'll beat Creighton.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people liking Marquette here. Wow. Oh, but yeah, and Kylie Reynolds says, not today, Pete. Marquette all day.
Okay.
Robbie Tagaloa, Florida, Syracuse, St. Louis, Florida State, Hawaii. I know Max was interested in Hawaii last night. So interesting to see that other people are jumping on them today. That's a game tonight. And Christian Walsh says take 'Cuse and Houston. So that's Syracuse and Houston. Very, very interesting.
Christian Walsh says Kansas over is a lock. Yeah, I mean, TCU has been putting up 80, something points game in and game out. And now with Azubuike out, Kansas is going to be, going a lot more small, playing a lot more small ball, right?
Yeah.
Christian Walsh says Kansas over is a lock.
Yeah. And he says take the over in Creighton. Wow. And Damian J. Walter says public all over Marquette. Go against them. Ray Williams liking Northwestern -3. Well, you guys, we can't go too late. They want us to keep our show to an hour, and we've already gone over. Fred Gialli says leaning over on Kansas. You guys, we've done some great work here, and I think the work's only going to get better with our afternoon of study and then our late show. I really, really like. I felt like this card was very difficult. I think we've set a nice base for our afternoon study, and I think that we smash on this late show. Jay Money is Money joining us, and then Maxwell Smart joining us for college basketball, and then right after that, King's Court, Jay Money, King Rail being joined by the Whale Capper. We're going to have a real nice few hours of action here at Sportsbook Review.
Shout out to you guys. We'll see you at 5:30 Eastern time.